Alright, so guys, it looks like I made a mistake on the notes with question number 10. So I want you guys to, hopefully you guys are watching this one that I sent you guys that correctly solves number 10 by completing the square. So we're going to follow the same steps we did for number 9. The first thing is we want to get the variables on one side of the equation with the constant on the other. So in this case, I want to take x squared minus 11x minus 9. And I'm going to add 9 to both sides. So what happens is I get x squared minus 11x equals positive 9. Okay? I want to isolate the x's on one side. That's the first step. The second step is I want to find out what c is. And how do I find out what c is? I'm going to take the b value, divide it by 2, and square it. So in this case, my b value is negative 11. So I'm going to take negative 11, divide it by 2, and square it. So this is what I get is I get negative 5.5 squared. So c turns out to be 30.25. So what am I going to do with the 30.25 is I'm going to add it to both sides of the equation. So I got x squared minus 11x plus 30.25 equals 9 plus 30.25. So right now, I have x squared minus 11x plus 30.25 equals 39.25. So I have x squared minus 11x plus 30.25 equals 39.25. Well, the next thing that I want to do is I want to factor. Step 3 is to factor the left side of the equation. So I'm going to factor x squared minus 11x plus 30.25. And the way I do that is I'm going to take x and I'm going to add the b term, which is negative 11 over 2. And that's going to equal 39.25. So in this case, I'm going to get x minus 5.5 squared is going to equal 39.25. Okay? So all I'm doing is to factor out what this expression is. Because this is a perfect square trinomial, all I have to do is take the middle term over 2 to figure out what that b over 2 value is. So now I'm going to square root both sides. So I have x minus 5.5 equals plus or minus the square root of 39.25. And then I'm just going to solve for x by adding 5.5 to both sides. The reason I'm doing that is 39.25 is just a crazy decimal. So what I end up with is I end up with 5.5 plus or minus the square root of 39.25. And that is my final answer to that question. I encourage you guys to try questions 11 and 12. We will talk about this in our class. Sorry about the mistake.